We'll go spin and glide. You've got no place to hide. 'Cause you don't.
I think what makes this trip so special is it is a true getaway. I mean, it's really the opportunity to step away from all the noise, the distraction, the demands of our life back home, where it's really hard to listen to ourselves. It's hard to kind of track what we're really doing with our lives and what's really precious to us in our lives. And a trip like this, it opens up the space and it gives the time and it creates a perfect opportunity to really drop in and feel a sense of celebration of your life.
From the sea.
So when I think of the word sublime, I picture Magdalena Bay. I picture the open beaches, the wide open bay, the beautiful sand dunes, the pelicans that just glide so gracefully. So imagine, if you will, the getting into the rhythm of the moon rising, the moon setting, the tides coming in, the tides going out, the whales coming into the bay, the whales moving out of the bay. It just gets you into this beautiful rhythm of life. And that allows me and allows everyone who I've experienced this type of trip with to really connect deeply with the rhythm of their own life.
Do beneath my floating home, down below her graceful side.
Magdalena Bay is situated on the Pacific coast of Baja, and you can cross the sand dunes, these beautiful barcane, like crescent-shaped sand dunes. And imagine getting over to the Pacific coast where it's hundreds of miles of just you.
The sailors of the San Marine.
So in doing these trips, we'll often go out in the skiffs twice a day to go be with the whale. And we see everything. We see mothers with babies, we see mating whales, we see the young juveniles who are just trying to figure out what's going on with this whole social scene with the whales, breaching, rolling, spy hopping, and it is so cool to be in a skiff and looking down into the water and see this massive animal. And it's just like, even now, it gets my heart going. And I watch people just light up, and they become just childlike in the experience of being with the whales. And the way that helps them in their own personal journey as well, it just allows them to feel their most childlike nature. And when we're in touch with that, that's when we're really having a deep conversation with our lives, is we're speaking to our child self, which is so informative. So when we gather people and we ask questions that are poignant and powerful questions that we often don't have time to either ask or even answer back at home, in this type of environment, we have the opportunity to really sink into our own deep knowing and answer some profound questions about what's working for us in our lives, what's not, what do we want to drop, what do we want to do, what do we want to add, what do we want to do more of and less of. So Marlena and I create a variety of different opportunities for deep listening, for celebration. We're going to dance on this journey. We're going to have some guided meditations. We're going to have some extra open lecture format. So it's a wonderful combination of celebration and introspection. And when you combine those two, all sorts of possibility opens up.
Well, perhaps I'll see you the next quiet cove.
One of the things we do is every single night at dinner, we have a simple question, which is simply, what happened today? It's a moment for everyone to stop and be still and remember. Like, well, what happened today? And people remember things like, oh, that's right, I got up at like 5 this morning and there was a coyote up on the dune and the moon was rising. I'd forgotten about that. That was beautiful. Somebody else says, what happened today? Well, you know, today I really think that I fell more in love with myself. That's what happened today. So it's a great opportunity. So we would do that every night at dinner. And one evening I forgot. I forgot to introduce that. We just started eating. And this one woman from New Jersey who was kind of a little cold to the idea initially, she said, well, wait a minute, what happened? Like, why don't we get to talk about what happened today? Well, I saw her many years after the trip at a gathering, and she pulled me aside and she let me know that when she went back to New Jersey, she changed her life completely. She became a yoga instructor, she ended up being a mindfulness teacher, all of this because she had never been still before in her life. That trip was the first opportunity she had ever had to actually stop and pay attention to her own life. And when she did, it told her very clearly what was true for her. She followed that truth and she said she'd never been happier. So it's an opportunity to go away so that you can first come back home in the internal adventure, the inner adventure. Come back home. And when you bring that home back to your physical home, to your work, to your loved ones, to your life, you bring that home, anything's possible. That's when life opens up. You know, if you're even considering coming on this trip, I can guarantee you it's because part of you is already saying yes. And I invite you to follow your yes. This isn't just a vacation. This is a life-changing opportunity. The table has been set. The retreat is all laid out and waiting for you. And all you have to do is say yes to your life, to say yes to adventure, and come play in Baja.